So to save time, painting time in our class, which is only 3 hours, I wanted to do a demo or a explanation of the proportions of the head here in this video first. Understanding the proportions of the head and the abstract construction of the head is important for all figurative artists and portrait artists in particular to understand the structure of the head prior to even painting it. So let's go over that. So I'm going to draw the head from my imagination from a frontal view, eye level. I'll start with the head will be about right here with a ball, which is basically, I'm going to draw a little bit over to the left so that there's room to show some writing as well. This is basically described in Andrew Loomis's book on head drawing, to utilize the ball as if this is the top of the skull. And then we'll actually have to cut off the sides of that ball because the skull isn't actually a circle. Although from the side view it would be, but from a frontal view it would not. And then very important is the center line of the head, which should be established regardless of the angle, so that it will show the gesture and the angle of the head immediately. So the center line is very crucial. I'm going to guess the chin is here, but I could be wrong. Top of the head. And let's get rid of the sides of that circle. So using just a clean brush with some Gamsol and just make it disappear. It basically acts as an eraser. So we have, let's establish where the placement of the brow would be. I think I'm going to estimate that it's going to fall right there. And then the brow socket. Something like that. And I have a feeling the top of the head is a little higher than I originally planned. And like that sphere, I wanted to imagine that we have a light source coming from this direction. Falling in this direction. Falling upon the head. And then the nose would be, I'm going to estimate here. Bottom plane, and then the mouth here, lower, and then the chin here. Okay. So let's, before I start to indicate the proportions, I want to see if this fleshes out somewhat accurately. So the eye actually falls center of the head. That's kind of surprising, I think, to most people, or not, as if you haven't studied the figure, the eyes actually fall center of the head. So 1/2 distance from top of head to, well, actually, it just seems like I'm probably got to go a little higher, and the top's probably got a little bit higher. So if the light's coming from this direction, I'm just going to sort of block in the brow. And then abstract, there's always going to be the brow line and side planes of the forehead. And then we'll have the nose, which is approximately there. And I'm going to kind of, if we draw from the inside of the eyes, a plumb line, that is the ideal width of a nose. So we have a side plane, of the nose here, and conversely on the other side, which helps us find the wing of the nose. Because the light's coming from there, I'm putting in some shadow to the side plane of the nose. Let's imagine that it's casting a shadow in this direction. Again, we have the mouth. And the upper lip, which then casts a shadow on the lower lip. And we have the cheekbones. Of course, if it's on this side, it has to also conversely be met on the other opposite side. Down to the chin. Okay, the nose, by the way, the bottom plane of the nose, there's the rule of thirds. The distance between the brow line to the bottom plane of the nose, just the brow line. Oops, not getting the right paint. Is 1/2 distance between the brow to the bottom plane of the nose to the bottom of the chin. So this distance from brow to nose to chin is equal distance. And then we have the mouth. Now the mouth falls 1/3 distance. This comes as a surprise. Between the bottom plane of the nose and the bottom plane and the chin. So that's 1/3 distance. And then it's 2/3 distance down to the chin. And the rule of thirds is the hairline, which is about here. This distance is the same distance as brow to nose, is the same distance from nose to chin. That's the rule of thirds. 1, 2, and 3. The placement of the ear, of course, this is only based on the fact that we're looking straight on from an eye level perspective. The ear falls in between the top of the brow and the bottom plane of the nose. That placement changes depending on the perspective we're viewing the head from. Jawline. I'm filling in some shadow. Casting a shadow. Form shadow of the cheek. Clean this up a little bit. Again, the hairline is here. Shoot. Didn't mix my paint well enough. That red keeps popping up. Top of head here. Brow line. Placement of the eyes. Bottom plane of nose. Placement of the mouth, 1/3 distance between bottom plane of the nose and chin, and then placement of the chin. Okay. All right, and since the light's coming from here, we might as well do this for the fun of it. This here would be a soft edge because it's a form shadow. So I'm going to soften that edge. So that even just by doing that, the contrast of edges alone will create the illusion of form. So it's a good idea to be able to actually do this out of your head, and you might want to practice it from time to time. Again, from a side view, it would be ball of the head, center line of head, doesn't hurt to know the construction of the head or the anatomy of the head, and envision the skull beneath the face, beneath the head itself. So I'm just trying to refine this a little better. In terms of balance, you want the jawline, so you have the point of the jaw here to match up on the other side exactly over here. Okay, well, it's been a while since I've done this, but you get the idea. And yeah, so don't forget that center line of head. That's really important. Establishing that from the very beginning. And the ball of the head, give it the volume. Okay, thank you.